So picture New York City in the mid-70s. It wasn't this polished, touristy spot we know today. It was gritty, broke, and that summer of '76, man, it was absolutely sweltering.
Totally. You had the fiscal crisis, rising crime, and then this uniquely terrifying shadow started creeping over the boroughs. It kicked off in the Bronx when a guy with a massive .4 caliber bulldog revolver started shooting young people sitting in their cars.
And at first, no one really connected the dots. In a city that big, you might think it's just a tragic, isolated incident. But as the months rolled on, this pattern of random, cold-blooded violence started to grip the city.
It's the unpredictability that got people. You're just hanging out with a friend, and suddenly life changes forever. This was the start of a year-long nightmare that would eventually bring the entire city to its knees, leaving everyone looking over their shoulder the second they stepped out at night.
So it all really kicks off in July of '76. Picture a hot summer night in the Bronx, right outside Donna Lauria's home. She and her friend Jody Valenti are just sitting in a parked car, chatting, totally normal stuff, when out of nowhere, a stranger walks up and starts shooting.
It's so heavy because Donna didn't make it. The police were totally baffled at first, too. They were looking for mob ties or some random grudge. They had no idea this was actually the start of a massive spree.
Exactly. Then October hits, another couple is shot in Queens, and by early '77, the name .44 caliber killer is everywhere. It's sending absolute chills down everyone's spine.
And a pattern was definitely emerging. It was mostly young couples in cars, and people noticed the women usually had long, dark hair. This wasn't a robbery. It felt like this guy was just thriving on the hunt.
Totally. And he was jumping between the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. It made everyone feel like no neighborhood was truly safe from this shadow with a handgun.
So here's where things get really wild. It wasn't just the shootings that had New York on edge. It was how this guy started talking back. See, he didn't want to just stay in the shadows. He wanted a spotlight.
Totally. He starts sending these rambling, handwritten letters to the NYPD and Jimmy Breslin over at the Daily News. This is actually where the Son of Sam name comes from. Before this, the press just called him the .44 caliber killer, but he rebranded himself in the creepiest way possible.
And the details in those notes were just bizarre. He's talking about Papa Sam and claiming he's being commanded to kill by a demon-possessed dog, specifically his neighbor Sam Carr's black lob. He literally claimed the dog was thousands of years old and spoke directly into his head.
It sounds like a bad horror flick, but it worked. He'd sign off as Beelzebub and mock the cops for being unable to catch him. It turned a tragedy into a total media circus. People were genuinely wondering if they were dealing with a person or some kind of literal monster. It just dialed the city's hysteria up to 11.
By the spring of 1977, New York wasn't just edgy. It was in a state of absolute mass panic. It's honestly hard to wrap your head around how much it changed the vibe of daily life back then.
Oh, it was wild. Because the killer seemed to have a type, basically women with long, dark hair. Thousands of New Yorkers actually went out and changed their whole appearance. Hair salons were just slammed with women asking for short bobs or dyeing their hair blonde, literally just to avoid being a target.
Right? And the nightlife, which is usually so vibrant, just kind of died. People stayed home and locked their doors. Parked cars weren't places for romance anymore. They were places of danger.
Every time a car backfired or a shadow moved in a parking lot, people totally panicked. Plus, the city was already so on edge from the 1977 blackout and all that looting. Having a serial killer on the loose, it felt like the final straw for a city that was already on the brink of a total collapse.
You'd think after a year of pure terror, it would be some high-level detective work that finally cracked the case. But honestly, it was the most mundane thing imaginable. A parking ticket.
No way. You mean a literal traffic violation ended the Son of Sam?
Totally. On the night of that final Brooklyn murder, a woman named Cecilia Davis saw something odd. She was in Gravesend and spotted a guy walking toward a cream-colored Ford Galaxy that had been ticketed for being too close to a fire hydrant. She felt this immediate chill, like something was wrong, and she actually told the police.
That's such a gut instinct moment.
Right? So investigators started digging through the logs for every ticket issued in that area. They found that specific Ford registered to a David Berkowitz up in Yonkers. That was the thread that finally pulled everything apart.
So they just drove up there and found him?
Pretty much. Detectives went to his apartment building, saw the car, and right through the window they could see a rifle and a paper bag sitting on the seat. A year of bloodshed ended by a simple, boring bureaucratic error. So it's August 10th, 1977. The cops are staked out by this car in Yonkers, basically just holding their breath for this lead to finally pay off. Then Berkowitz walks out, looks like just another guy, and hops into the driver's seat.
And the crazy part? When they swarmed him, he didn't even try to run or fight. He just looked right at the detective and said, "Well, you got me." It's so unsettling. You've probably seen the photo. He's being led away with this big, chilling smile that just doesn't fit the moment at all.
Oh, that smile is absolute nightmare fuel. But the real shocker was when they got inside his apartment. It wasn't some movie villain setup. It was a total disaster. The walls were just covered in these frantic, messy scrawls about demons and death.
It's like you could see his mind unraveling right there. He'd written all these paranoid rants against his neighbors, convinced they were out to get them through their pets and even the sounds in the walls.
Exactly. Seeing where he lived really stripped away the Son of Sam legend. He wasn't a mastermind. He was just a deeply disturbed guy lost in a violent, lonely world of delusions.
So, Riley, even after the arrest, the story took some really weird turns. Berkowitz eventually admitted the whole demon dog thing was just a total hoax he'd made up to try for an insanity plea.
Right, but then it got even more complicated. He started claiming he was actually part of a widespread satanic cult and didn't act alone. He even pointed the finger at his neighbors, the Carr brothers.
And a journalist named Maury Terry spent years investigating that exact angle. He noticed that several composite sketches from the different crime scenes didn't look like Berkowitz at all. We're talking totally different facial features.
It's honestly super unsettling. Even though the official police stance says that he was a lone wolf, that cult theory still has a massive following today. It adds this really creepy what if to the whole case.
Exactly. It suggests the Son of Sam might have been a group effort rather than just one guy acting solo. That lingering doubt is probably the most chilling part of the entire legacy. So, looking at where things stand today, Berkowitz is still alive, quietly serving out those 6 consecutive life sentences. When you do the math, that's roughly 365 years. He's definitely not going anywhere.
Right, and he's actually completely leaned into this son of hope identity now. He became a born-again Christian in prison and spends a lot of his time counseling other inmates and writing about his faith. He's even said he has no interest in seeking parole because he honestly believes he belongs exactly where he is.
It's pretty wild how his crimes changed the legal system, too. We actually got the Son of Sam laws because of him. You know, the rules that stop criminals from profiting financially through the publicity of their crimes, like book deals or movies. It's a massive legacy for the legal world.
It really is. But for the people who were in New York back then, that Summer of Sam was way more than a legal footnote. It was a year of pure terror that changed how the city looked at safety forever. Even with him behind bars, the memory of that .440 revolver still haunts the people who lived through it. It's just a heavy, permanent scar on the city's soul.